cute this ornament is. So this is made with obviously sheet music. I happen to use We Need a Little Christmas from Mame, and it's probably materials you already have at home. And these are quick and easy to make. I'm going to show you what we need for materials right now. Okay, so it's really flexible what you need. So obviously you need your sheet music. Like I said, I used We Need a Little Christmas from Maine, but it could be any kind of music, any holiday music or anything. Use a piece of chipboard. It could be something like a cereal box. I use twine here. You could also use something like, a monofilament or a fishing line to just kind of hang it up. And then I used some felt for the nose and for the hat, and just some ribbon for the scarf. And then obviously you need glue, you need glitter, whatever you happen to have on hand. I used these flowers. I had them, and a hot glue gun. Happened to have them on hand, but you could use pom-poms even. And then I used a glaze, and this was just to give it a little bit of sparkle over the sheet music. And then I've got these are just gems that I used for the eyes and for the buttons. And you see here, I cut my chipboard into two pieces just to kind of measure, and I wanted it to be a little bit stronger. I added a little bit of glue to the back of it here, again, just to affix them together so that I can cut them both out at the same time. That's just to give a little bit of strength. And I have my little snowman shape, and I just basically cut that out. I folded my paper in half and cut that out so that it was the same on both sides. Just trace it around, and I'm going to cut both pieces out at the same time so that they're exactly the same shape. Okay, so here it is, all cut out, same shape on both sides, a little bit stronger. And so now I'm going to then trace this on my sheet music, and kind of finding the place on the sheet music where I like kind of the way the lyrics or the music kind of lands. And notice I folded it in half, so I'm cutting them both out at the same time, so they're exactly the same shape. Now, you'll also notice here that I'm cutting a little bit larger than the actual snowman shape. That way I don't have quite as many kind of exposed edges on the side, so when I glue it down, they will kind of cover the exposed cardboard underneath. So that was just kind of a little tip that I discovered as I was making my sample. Okay, and so we've got them cut out. So basically, all you're gonna do is just glue them right down onto your cardboard. Couldn't be easier. This is actually a really fun project you could do with, friends. You could do with, children who might, really like Snowman or anything like that. Literally glue that piece of sheet music right down onto the chipboard, and then you're going to flip it over and you're going to do the same on the other side. Now notice here I'm kind of aligning it so that there's the overhang like I was saying. So basically just going to do the same thing on the second side, same song, second verse. All right, and glue that piece right onto the back. And then you're going to want to let it dry. Now, remember, we didn't really glue the two pieces of cardboard together very strongly. We're going to do that in a little bit. I do encourage you to put something really solid on top of it to flatten it out while it's drying. Here, I just put tape. No, this part's not necessary, but I thought it'd be really fun to kind of have a little bit of a glaze on the snowman so that it gives a little bit of sheen. Certainly you don't need to do this. I had a glaze paint, but you could certainly use something like a Mod Podge or something like that that gives a little bit of a sheen. And so I did this on both sides. And it really does add kind of a shimmer to it, so it makes it look a little bit snowy. So right here, I'm just taking white, standard glue, standard like school glue, and just painting around the edges. And then I'm gonna put the sparkle on it. You know me, you know I like sparkle. And I thought it would be really fun to just put some glitter around the edges to make it look a little bit like snow. So notice I'm putting this over a piece of paper, and that's so that the glitter will be caught on the paper and then I don't waste it and I can put it back into the jar when it's everything's affixed. I don't want to waste obviously the glitter. So just putting glitter around the edges, and then once you do one side and let that dry, you're going to do the reverse side. And while I was waiting for the first side to dry, I just thought I'd show you how I made the snowman shape. Literally took a piece of paper, folded it in half, and cut it out so that both sides are the same. Okay, so here I'm just gluing the two pieces of cardboard together. Now, certainly I could have done this earlier in the process, but honestly, I wasn't sure if I wanted to put the hanger, the twine, in between the two pieces of cardboard. I ended up deciding to put it in the hat instead. And so, if you want to do this earlier in the process, you certainly could glue these two pieces of cardboard together with white glue or hot glue, whatever works for you. I feel like now we're getting to the really fun part of it, because now we get to add personality to this snowman. So I use just the standard white glue, the school glue, and I have these jewels. These are kind of the tiny little jewels, and I'm using my jewel picker to add just the buttons on the snowman, and then adding the facial features, the eyes. And you see there, I've got a tiny little piece of orange triangle just to create the nose for the snowman. I cut that out of a tiny little piece of felt. But I just think this is, where you add the personality. So feel free to make him or her whatever kind of personality you want here. And now it's just adding kind of the clothing for this the snowman. So I've taken this piece of ribbon, and notice I'm cutting a slit in it, and that's so that you can kind of just kind of thread one piece of the ribbon through the other, and kind of creating a little bit of a scarf effect there. And I'm literally just going to hot glue these right onto the snowman there. And I'll do it in the back too. There's a little bit more of a kind of a loop there than I want in the back, but it still works. And then just cut the ends to the length that you want. And I had this, what I thought they kind of looked like, I don't know, like snowflakes. They're not, they're flowers, but you can certainly add, any like garland or anything like that that would be kind of appropriate for a snowman. But I just thought that was totally cute. Now, I've got my red felt here. This is I'm using for the hat. Notice I'm just cutting a piece, and I've got it folded in half, and I'm kind of just gauging. I'm really just kind of eyeballing it here and creating kind of a hat shape. And I noticed I cut them both out at the same time, and that was just so that I could have them exactly the same size. And I kind of scooped out the bottom there, and that was just so that you can see his little face on the front there. Literally just hot gluing this on. You want to glue that in the back first, and then I'm going to glue in the front, but don't glue all the way to the top yet, because you want to add the hanger, the twine that we've got there. And see that? How cute is he? He's so adorable. So I've got this twine. This is basically, just kind of standard kitchen twine. And now this is when you can really glue that whole hat down. Look how cute that is. And now it's just adding, I just decided to add another flower on the front and on the back, but you could do pom-poms here. That would be really fun. You could make little snowflakes. I just thought that I happened to have these, and so I thought these would be really fun to add, just to add a little kind of detail there. And then I'm going to add another ribbon on top of the hat. Needed a little bit more kind of sprucing up. So I had this extra piece of ribbon that was from the other snowman that I made. And so I literally just kind of put it across the front there just to break up the color, and gluing it in the back as well. I kind of glued it together on the side there, but glued in the back, and then just trimming it so that it's a little bit more flush with the side of the hat. But I just think that adds a little bit more dimension to the hat. of course, I need to add another just like little flower because that just is so sweet. I love it. And now we've got the final touches. I just thought it'd be fun to add a little bit of a bow kind of at the top of his hat. And so I'm just adding a little bow here. Now, just if you're using this type of twine, it does unravel, so you want to be careful. I added a little bit of hot glue. You'll see in a moment at the base so that it wouldn't unravel, and obviously added hot glue right at the top of the hat too. You'll see in a second. I'm going to add some hot glue here, but you could certainly add just kind of a school glue if you'd like, just to keep it from unraveling on you. Unless you like that look, that would work too. And here they are. Could they be any cuter? I just love the personalities. I love the sparkle. I just think that brings such fun and warmth to the winter season. So I hope you try these. I'm sure there are materials that you have in your own home. And if you try them, please send me pictures so I can see what they look like. So thank you so much for joining me for this week's Theater Craft, and I will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.